Hello and welcome to episode 70 of the Perth to Paisley podcast. Say it every week, but we can't believe we're still doing this and at this level. So thank you all for listening. You won't have heard this because it makes no sense in the audio, but I've just almost broke my hand trying to get this started. So we put ourselves through the ringer for your entertainment. So we hope you appreciate it. And of course, we as being myself, Daniel McIver, and as ever, joined by the laughing Adam Kennedy. Adam, how are you doing?
Oh, fantastic, mate. Yeah, absolutely delighted to be here. It's such a solid start, obviously, with you bashing your elbow. I think that pretty much sets the tone for this episode. It's funny, I think now we're going to look at like two of our last three episodes being complete and utter shambles. So, yeah, this is what happens when Hearts don't play every week. And the transfer window, there's a whole combination of factors. The world of Scottish football is mental and thriving. And yeah, that's why we're here to talk about the famous jam tarts.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm good. What about yourself?
I'm delighted to hear it. I'm okay, apart from my knackered hand now, which is great.
Hey, to be fair, I mean, you pointed out my haircut and the fact that I now look even more like Ben Woodburn, apparently. So
yep.
Count yourself lucky.
We need this to be a weekly segment where we check in on Adam's ability to look more or less like Ben Woodburn with each passing week. You're in a Hearts kit as well, so you're properly looking like you're ready to walk out as our number 9.
Oh, I'm trying to think of somebody from this season, though. Oh, God. Look, I need to diet or get it like all off something. This cannot continue.
It's going to be great. However, as Adam hinted at, there's no been much going on in terms of hard and fast football due to the winter break still being ongoing. So this episode is very much going to be like a transfer roundup kind of episode. It's probably going to be shorter than you're used to, but that's purely just because we don't have a lot to speak about. So obviously we don't have our usual Around the Grounds feature because nothing in the Premiership has been happening. However, I do want to touch on one little thing that I haven't even mentioned to Adam, so this is catching him completely out of the blue. Have you seen the flying acrobatics of our on-loan centre-half in Mihai Popescu's bicycle kick that he scored for Hamilton Academical?
Don't want to see it. Don't want to see it. Did Accies win?
Yes, they did.
Who were they even playing again?
Partick Thistle.
Oh, so they did. Oh, great. That shows how much I care.
It's very generous to suggest it is a bicycle kick.
Haven't even checked it out. I just want to erase all memory of Mihai Popescu in maroon and white, and that involves time away from the club, everything. No. The only takeaways I should say that I took from the championship were Arbroath getting beat, which is disappointing because seeing them win the league would just be tremendous. Yeah. Kelly are kind of the big winners toward the top. They'll probably go on and win the league under McInnes now. But Dunfermline getting smashed off Greenock Morton. My goodness gracious me.
Gary Oliver just hating Dunfermline with a passion.
His record against Dunfermline is phenomenal. I genuinely think that's the only club he's ever scored against in his career.
It's something
even
like
Robbie Muirhead was getting amongst the goals.
It's something like Gary Oliver's most goals that he's got against a club. Second place is like 5 goals, and then with the goal he scored at the weekend, it took his tally against Dunfermline to like 14 or something.
Just Pars, sign him up. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Do yourselves a disservice here.
Well, from one Hearts centre half who hopefully won't be here next season to one that we definitely know will be here next season and into the seasons beyond, as it was confirmed today on the day of recording, the 11th, that Craig Halkett has signed a 2.5-year deal at the club, keeping him here until the exact same time as Craig Gordon, the end of the 2023-24 season. It has been met, thankfully, with kind of universal praise. And that's kind of the main talking point I wanted to speak about, because obviously we have spoken about Craig Halkett a lot. We spoke about him last week and how much we wanted him to sign this new deal. But I'll be totally honest, I expected it to be met with some form of pushback because a lot of people have been quite publicly not against him, but thinking he wasn't up to the level. And with the fact that his contract was ending, some people before this season started felt, right, this is going to be his last year with us, and we just go on without him once his contract ends. However, the most common thing I saw, and I think you yourself said it, was he's proved me wrong, delighted that he's going to be here for the foreseeable.
Yeah, I think I can't remember slating Craig Halkett all that much, to be honest. I think there, like you said, there's a large portion of the Hearts fan base that have been sceptical about Craig Halkett, but that was predominantly when he was playing in a back four against the likes of Mihai Popescu. Alongside the likes of Mihai Popescu, Christoph Berra, whoever, countless other jobbers. So you've touched on it pretty much every single week, in that it's a system which suits him, and ultimately we're seeing the best of him in a Hearts top now. At Livingston, it was alongside Declan Gallagher and Alan Lithgow in that back three. That's where all the attention surrounding Craig Halkett initially arose. So the fact that we've then signed him to play in a back four, realised that it hasn't worked, but now he seems to be thriving in a back three, I can't complain with Hearts offering that extension. I'm delighted given the supposed interest from elsewhere. What it does sort of scream to me is that he might not see the end of the 2.5 years. I think had it been any longer than that, you might suspect that he'd stay at Hearts for the foreseeable. I think this is merely, if there is interest that arises from elsewhere again, Hearts are therefore in a more commanding position where they can demand a transfer fee rather than have the fear of potentially losing him on a free transfer. So it makes sense business-wise. Obviously, this is the best that Craig Halkett has performed in a Hearts jersey. I'm very pleased for him. I'm pleased that he shut a lot of people up, and it's no less than he deserves. Well done, Halks.
So Robbie spoke about saying, I'm delighted that Craig is committed to his future at the club. He's a big player for us and he's really come into his own this season with some standout performances. To have him around for the next 2.5 years is welcome news, and I'm sure he and the team will continue to go from strength to strength. Then Joe Savage got involved, saying we want to keep our best players at the club so that we can continue to progress, and Craig has been a big part of our journey so far. It was therefore a no-brainer to make him an offer, and I'm really happy there was a keenness from all sides to get it done. And then this has been the statement that a lot of Hearts fans have attached themselves to. It's great news ahead of our return to action, which is imminent, and I'm hopeful that we'll have even more good news in the next coming days. Now,
what do you think he means by that?
Well, that's been the big thing. So I'm going to use this to add, I wasn't going to mention him, but I'm going to mention him at this point just because Savage kind of hinted at this. There's been two ways you can look at this. Either that we're going to have more people adding to the contract extension situation. Either Stephen Kingsley and Peter Haring seem to be the two that Hearts fans are generally saying we really want them to. However, then a deal that I think we spoke about last week that we assumed was kind of dead in the water has kind of reared its head again, as Tashomi Ogashawa has kind of just said, I want to come. But his club, Sapporo, have said, no, we want to keep him until the end of the season, where he would then be available on a free. But it kind of seems to be back on a wee bit. It's weird. What do you make of that?
It's the wording, isn't it? Because with Halkett signing this deal, I'm with you. I sort of thought that it was the contract, or the expiring contracts would be extended / renewed. If what we're waiting for is Stephen Kingsley's confirmation, and ideally Peter Haring's as well, then I am going to be a very happy chappy. More so than I already am today. Like, today has been a good day. Obviously, the day recording, Halkett signed. We've got another fantastic story to discuss. So all is well in our little world. I just hope that Stephen Kingsley is the next to put pen to paper. And given Robbie's comments, I don't know. It seems as though that's 50-50. I really don't know. I've not heard anything. I'm not in the know. I can't claim to be in the loop. I'm just begging, exactly the same as everybody else, that he signs on.
And then, as I say, how do you feel about this weird transfer deal that seemed to be, oh, it's happening, definitely. Oh, it's gone. Oh, now we seem to be in a weird middle ground with Tashoshi Ogashiwa, where I don't know what's happening.
I don't know anything about the guy. I've never seen him play. I don't know what his interests are. Got no idea.
I watched a 7-minute highlights compilation of Ogashiwa today, and he looks fast. That's the main takeaway I have, and that he likes to pass a lot.
Look, the main takeaway that I have from scouting is don't do it on YouTube, because that appears as though that's all we've done for the past 5 years. I don't know. It screams like such a random like FIFA career mode transfer. Like who is this guy? Like we never heard of him. Don't know if he's any decent. Don't know whether we want this to happen, whether we'd be dodging a bullet if it doesn't. It's all up in the air as far as I'm concerned. If he wants to join, then by all means, great. Because like I think I even said it last week, and that Hearts would be a stepping stone. Hearts aren't the be all and end all. They are for losers like us, but to ambitious professional footballers, I can see that they are a stepping stone. And by all accounts, it seems to be a decent stepping stone. So why not?
Well, talking about players that are potentially incoming and are definitely incoming, there are, however, players that are outgoing potentially, and one that is definitely outgoing, as literally a couple hours before we started recording.
He's outgone.
Yes, he has confirmed that Jamie Walker has joined Bradford City, League Two Bradford City, on loan until the end of the season. Speaking at the website, Walker didn't make any comments officially to the club. He has on Instagram posted comments about his time at the club. However, Robbie said the move comes down to the fact that Jamie wants to play more games. We have a really strong squad and competition for places is fierce, so there are no guarantees that anyone will be an automatic starter. There's no doubt in Jamie's talent, and whilst I would have been delighted to have him here with us for the second half of the season, we must respect his decision and desire to play regular first-team football. Jamie goes to Bradford with our best wishes, and the group now returns to training as we prepare to build on what has been a fantastic first half of the campaign. Adam, Jamie Walker's gone. Unless there's a miracle and he comes back from Bradford and then we go, here's a new deal. He has most likely played his last game for the club. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it's a phenomenal achievement, first and foremost, for a boyhood fan to go on and score over 50 goals for the club of their choosing.
And make 248 appearances for said club as well.
So that's not a bad return for an attacking midfield player. What's that, 1 in 5, 4 or 5 and a bit?
You do have to take into account 2 of them are at a lower level.
Of course.
However, though, I say that, I don't know what percent. I might be doing a disservice there. I don't know what percentage of his 50 were in those bottom.
And to be fair,
those 2 seasons.
I can think of a couple of occasions where he scored against a Rangers team that perhaps wasn't at its strongest in said time, but it's still Rangers. It's still a high-profile clash. You know, he scored in the derby in that 14-15 season as well. Yeah. So it's not as though it's, total jobbers.
It's not just Dumbarton that he's scoring against every week.
Yeah, and who else would be Alloa and like all these other...
Cowdenbeath.
Cowdenbeath. What a time to be alive. So I can't say anything other than he's ultimately a boy that's lived the dream. My surprise is Jamie not stayed in Scotland, if I'm honest. I think he went down to Wigan initially, wasn't it, from Hearts? And then there was also a loan spell because it wasn't quite working. Was it Peterborough?
Peterborough,
if I remember saying, yeah. So Wigan and Peterborough and now Bradford. I'm amazed that like a championship club or somebody like that, like even we were talking about Dunfermline earlier on, somebody like Dunfermline could do with him in their midfield. So why would they not try and force that through? Or do you think is it only down to money?
I think money will be a big aspect of it. They will be able to pay.
But if it's only temporary, is he viewing Bradford as like a potential destination upon the expiry of his Hearts contract? Because it's only a temporary fix if you think about it. But then I guess he's putting himself in the shop window to like, it might not even necessarily be the Bantams come the end of his deal. It might be another League Two outfit, or if he's good enough for League One. But it seemed like he struggled in League One the last time. So I don't know. And there was obviously the talk of St Johnstone as well, or something like that.
St Johnstone and Livingston were 2 clubs that reportedly interested.
I don't know. I am pretty surprised that he's gone back down south, to be honest. But wish Jamie all the very best. And like I say, he's done what you and I could only dream of doing. So fair play. Absolutely.
I think I saw some people react, especially some people reacted to me directly when I said that this is mostly because of the fact that he couldn't consistently show the quality that we all know is there, that on his day, Jamie Walker can be a match winner, never mind just a good player. We saw it at Dundee where he came on and won us the game. He has the ability to do that in any game. However, for basically his entire second spell here, I'd say he hasn't consistently shown that. He'll have good games here and there, and then go on a run of 5 or 6 games where he does nothing. Last season, it was often from the bench, and then people would go, why isn't he featured? And then he would then start and be completely lost in games. And of course, this is out of his control, but his fitness has been up and down, and that's just from official channels. I'm not trying to say that, he's not working hard enough or anything like that. Oftentimes when Robbie Neilson was asked, why isn't Jamie Walker playing, Robbie would say it's because he's not up to his fitness. Now, obviously...
Do you think that is the case?
Sorry, well, that's what I was about to say. People will dispute that. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be privy to that information. I think there is an element of when Jamie Walker starts a game, you can see he tires quicker than anybody. And I think, again, that's down to injuries that he's had in the past, where he had that massive knee injury. And that obviously takes something away from you. He was never the fastest. Even when he was in that first championship season, I would say Nicholson and King, out of the three of them, were kind of the faster players, even though Walker was clearly the best player out of the three.
Technically, probably.
Yes, absolutely. But then when you lose that already lack of pace that you kind of had to begin with, it does make it harder. And that's why I felt that Walker coming on at the 65th minute was often really good, because he was starting from 100%, whereas other players around him that he was competing with were 65 minutes into a game. But of course, I understand that as him as a professional, what is he now, 28, I think?
You're asking.
He's around that age, so he's getting to the point where it's like he needs to be playing every single week. It should be prime
time, really.
Yes, absolutely. So I totally understand why, even though it's his club, it's his boyhood club, that probably isn't going to satisfy him. And I totally understand that. So again, listen, it's been very well documented that me and Jamie Walker had a rocky relationship, right? But I think, weirdly, a name I didn't think I was going to mention tonight, me and Hector Nicol from the podcast with Robert Borthwick, We Have No Cares, have very...
Hold on a second. Is Hector Nicol not the one that wrote the Heart song?
Yeah, Nicol Hay is who I meant to say. Nicol, two people with Nicol. Yeah, me and Hector Nicol have very interesting points. Yes. We've been sat speaking about Jamie Walker in between takes. No, me and Nicol from Robert Borthwaite's podcast, We Have No Cares, said the exact same thing. Nicol said, the frustration with Jamie Walker is always born from the fact that we know he can be so good. And it's just an aspect of, why can't you do that more consistently?
That's a big thing for me, because I thought the reappointment of Robbie Neilson, we really would see the re-emergence of Jamie Walker, given that this was the gaffer that he played his best football under. And for whatever reason, he's just not been able to nail down a first team starting berth. So I don't know whether it's fitness, whether it's potentially attitude, whether he and Robbie have had some sort of rift. I'd really be intrigued to know, because like everybody says, and they're right, Jamie is a talented footballer, but for whatever reason, this time around, since coming back up the road, and when Craig Levein brought him back up the road, it hasn't worked. And yeah, look, he goes with my well wishes, and hopefully he puts himself right back in that shop window for Bradford or whoever.
I think he'll do very well at that level. I'd be surprised if he didn't do well. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Well, now we move on to potentially leaving players, and one of them could potentially be joining the same league, I think.
Please don't.
Are Tranmere in that league?
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Are Tranmere in League Two? Let's quickly check.
Tranmere Rovers.
Where
I believe they are.
They're currently playing Salford, they're second in League Two. They're doing very well.
A little promotion push. Here we go.
Exactly. Basically, there is an account on Twitter that I have no idea, and I don't think any Hearts fan knows the idea of the legitimacy and how trusting they are. But I think a lot of Hearts fans have went, please be real. Please be legitimate.
Everybody's begging, aren't they?
Yes.
That rumour page is legitimate.
As apparently, Tranmere Rovers have offered money to take Armand Nandwili down south. And I think it's made a lot of us fans go. My initial reaction was, why are they offering money when they could get him for free? They could sign him on a pre-contract, and I'm assuming with the way everything's been going with Nandwili and Neilson,
and then a minimal fee or whatever,
or the club would allow him to go on loan.
Yeah, I don't get that either. They must be gagging on a centre forward. Or gagging on a target man, and they've obviously heard rumours that he's unhappy here. Look, there's a whole host of lower league English clubs supposedly in the quote unquote race for Armand Nandwile. So I think if we can get a fee off any, I'm taking it and running. To be perfectly honest,
I will be shocked if we get a fee.
As will I. And one thing that did amuse me was kind of seeing the tweets of a statue for Joe Savage outside the main stand if we get a fee for Armand Nandwile. I can't dispute that, to be honest. My intrigue will then be, does this money go towards the Japanese fella? Does it go towards other striker? We all know who I'd like to sign, but I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that. No, I'm going to leave that.
No. We need to speak about that. I hadn't planned on speaking about him, but all your Twitter has been over the last 48 hours has been about him. If for people who haven't seen Adam, who would you like us to sign?
Lawrence Shankland. Goals galore.
In the Championship, yes. In the Premiership, 8 in 42 appearances.
Whoa. Stop-start season.
Not one season. He played 19 games in a row. One of them. And he scored twice.
Stop-start. And look, it was a terrible United team. In this Hearts team, you'd get better service than in that United team. I'm telling you.
He couldn't play for us. You couldn't play for us this season.
Hold on. Well, that's fine. We'll just.
No, it isn't. We need something now.
No, well, if Nando goes out on loan, then.
Right, so who have we got? Shankland waiting in August. Being like, I'll be here next season,
Look, agree it for July time. He can come aboard the European Express. Look,
oh my God.
What I will say is, Hearts have had the polar opposite, where we brought in 30 goal a season strikers and made them look woeful, for want of a better word. Just John Sutton springs to mind immediately. That is the one that will haunt me. He was prolific at Motherwell, and I thought, oh my God, we're onto something here. Rank rotten.
Aye, but we've now got one who's scored everywhere, and he's still scoring for us as well.
Well, yeah, but we can't rely on one centre forward.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But we need an option this season. He can't play for another team this season.
Look. That's fine. We'll agree.
It's not
for July time, and then we'll move on to another target. There's got to be some free agent, some Raj-Gaj free agent that would do us a temporary fix. Jason Cummings has fallen out of favour at Dundee.
I will hit you. I will reach. How do we do this every year? It's Joe Ledley. It's Lawrence Shankland. It's Kyle Lafferty. It's Jason Cummings.
Lafferty? There you
go. Oh my God.
Look, I've even got the strip on to commemorate him. Here we go. That's who I think of with this top on. Joe Ledley, I've never seen. Is Joe Ledley not retired?
I don't know, but for the last 3 transfer windows, I feel like I've seen his name 100 times.
I have never once seen that rumour on Hearts Twitter. The Lafferty rumour I'll give you, the Jason Cummings rumour.
He's got to Linfield.
Was just for the banter. And his deal's up come the end of the season. He's just thrown it away, hasn't he? Really.
He's another Lawrence Shankland, really good in the Championship, not good enough.
Come on, don't.
I think Shankland, because Shankland's 3-4 years younger than him.
Something like that.
So he has potential. He has time to get better, but just now he's no good enough.
I know you're not a fan of open goal either, but when
I love this conversation. All my favourite things.
But Cy Ferry had asked Lee McCulloch when he was assistant gaffer at Dundee United, do you think he's good enough for the old firm? And Jig said yes. So
that's when he was Dundee United assistant manager. So of course he's going to say that. He's not going to go, nah, he's quite shite.
But I don't think it was like actually on camera. I think he said it to Cy off air and whatever. So that's not obviously putting him in the shop window. I don't. There's just a small part of me that would like.
Think.
Look at the Instagram photo with these mohawks, right? and he's causing it. Back in the day, it was the caption or something like that.
But I've got photos like that. That doesn't mean I should be put up front.
And I just love
But no response. You've got no response because I'm right.
I can't deny that. But I'd love for Scott Wilson to play glad all over when he scores.
That's the shittest. This is another Bevis Mugabe situation. You're like, he's got a class name.
Oh, hold on a second. You were all for the signing of Nathaniel Atkinson because of his dogs, rather than how
but we've actually signed him as well.
Yeah, we've not seen him play yet.
So
it can still go cataclysmically wrong from here.
Yeah, but he's not one of those players who it's like we've been constantly linked with, and I'm sick of. I'm sick of, because especially
who else? Right? That's a question for the listeners. Who is that rumor that you're sick of year after year? Kyle Lafferty's got to be the most obvious answer.
Jason Cummins is one and all, because that feels like it's been for about 7 years.
That's died a death for a good few seasons now, though.
True. Lafferty's been the present one.
Lafferty's been years going on ever since he left. Every window since he left, virtually.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like the Shankland conversation, if it's going to have to happen, should be happening in summer. It shouldn't be happening now when we need a player now.
No, look, that's fine. I'm willing to wait. I'm trying to think of the other gadgets, because Tony Watt hasn't, like, United haven't confirmed it yet, have they?
I thought they had.
I didn't.
Sky Sports have confirmed it, but I don't know what that means.
Well, unless I'm missing the United announcement, but
Tony Watt's going to Dundee United.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of the other out of contract players that we discussed a couple of weeks back. I think Eamon Brophy was another, but we're wanting better than that.
Yeah, this isn't the FM.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the centre forward solution. My annoyance is, I think we had a conversation last year about out of contract Premiership players, and I touted Ross Stewart. He is banging them in for Sunderland at present.
Very well.
So, and again, somebody of that kind of physical ilk. I just love the fact that we'd be robbing Ross County of probably their best two centre forwards in the past decade, and just giving them a chance to play. But I don't know. This Japanese fella is the only centre forward that we've seen linked, and I don't even think it seems like he's more of a 10 anyway.
However, I will say this. We only heard about Benny coming like a day before. We only heard about Devlin coming like 2 days before. Joe Savage seems to be really good at keeping stuff quiet.
Keeping it under wraps, doesn't he? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, I'm just gonna keep checking to see if there's any, anything that Barry Anderson tweets. Hearts are linked with 30 goal a season centre forward, and that'd be quite nice. But until then, we're left kind of twiddling our thumbs and hoping for a centre forward.
Well, one transfer that has not been kept quiet and not been hidden. Right, now? We're finally speaking about it.
No.
It's happening because probably by the next time we record, he's probably not going to be a Hearts player.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
We saw today that
imagine the really good news that Robbie was referencing earlier as he puts pen to paper. Could you imagine? Oh my God, that would be incredible.
Well, it's no happening.
I genuinely think I would burst out laughing. I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably end up screaming and like running around my room or God knows what. That would be hilarious.
Well, the individual we're talking about is apparently that John Souttar has narrowed it down to 2 English clubs. If we're to be believed, it's Stoke and Blackburn, and Rangers as his potential next club. If it is Rangers,
it's the Rovers.
If it is Rangers, he wants to leave this month and go for the rest of the season. Now, I'm not saying I've got sources, but I will be very, very surprised if John Souttar is not a Rangers player by the end of this window. Now, listen,
Tell me all you know about John Souttar without telling me that you know all about John Souttar.
I've made my point clear about the Souttar situation, which is why I'm able to currently speak about it, as I'm kind of like fine. Whereas Adam, if you're just listening, folks, Adam has basically been sat with his head in his hands for the last 2 minutes. Can I just get your thoughts? It hasn't even happened yet.
I'm going to be sick to my stomach if he pulls on that royal blue, to be quite honest. It better be Blackburn. Please. Come on, look at the position that they're in the Championship. You could be playing in the Prem. Imagine that.
Could be playing the Champions League, though.
McIver, you're not helping, please. Stop. Just think, like, when you were watching us get beat off Queen of the South at home in the Championship to then be going and playing in the Premiership all of about 12, 18 months, whatever it is later. What a remarkable story, John. Don't sign for Rangers, please. On a free transfer would honestly kill me. That has got to be up there with, like, Presley. I can't believe I just ushered his name. Hartley. Like, the pain.
So as I've said, I don't feel that level of pain towards Sean Suter.
Please don't. Please. I'm going to be broken.
As I say, I'm a lot more fine with whatever he does because I don't know what it is. I've never, like, I don't even know. You're going to say
he's overrated.
No, that's not what I'm going to say. I've just never, clearly I'm missing something because everybody else in the fan base, like, loves him, thinks he's like our best player. I think he's been our third best defender this season.
I agree with that. But I just think the other two have been outstanding. I think John Suter, he's just a baller. I don't see many in the country like him. I really don't. I think Stephen Kingsley on the other side, in terms of carrying it out from that back three, I think his range of passion. I think his range of passing is phenomenal.
Well, this is the thing.
Think he's a top defender.
This is the thing about his passing.
He's not small.
He's not small.
He's exactly what you want in a modern day centre back. If they're building John Stones up to be 50 million, John Suter's worth 100. There, I said it.
So I'll give him credit here. My dad raised this point that I hadn't really thought of before. So my dad was like, John Suter's passing on its day can be arguably the best of any defender we've seen. Like you and me have seen, right?
Oh, I thought you.
No, not my dad.
In his era.
No,
like that's quite a compliment.
From defenders, probably he's one of the best. Like in terms of how he can just switch the play, right?
Undoubtedly.
Like those crossfield passes to Alex Cochrane that happen about 10 times a game, right? But my dad raised the point. There can be games like that, but then there can be games where he can't pass 5 yards for some reason. The first game that pops in my head is that. Oh, what was it? I can't remember who we were playing. The Dundee game. The Dundee game at home. Yeah, where it just looked like a different person. It didn't look like John Suter. It looked like Mihai Popescu was playing.
There was one that he played out. I think the frustration was that day for me that he wasn't finding Cochrane on a consistent basis, given how much space he was in.
Yeah,
but what I'd say to your dad is his passing might not have been on point. Sorry, he pops up with the opening goal.
No, but my dad's point was that Suter doing that with us is fine because we don't need our centre half to be doing that every single game. But Rangers will need him.
It's going to be like a 50% success rate or whatever.
Yeah, Rangers need him to be doing that every single game, and there could be a weakness to that. Now, however, at the same time, he is 25, so he's still got time to grow into his prime. And if you go to Rangers, there's probably a high chance your training's better, you're playing with better quality players, you will then learn.
It's facilities, surrounding yourself with better players, testing yourself against the best, particularly with the carrot being dangled of the league winners automatically qualifying for the Champions League group stage. That is enormous.
But I will say that this season, since the Scotland game where he scored, ever since he's come back, I've felt like, as I say, I think he's been our third best defender by a way. I actually could make the argument fourth because obviously Kingsley and Halkett are ahead of him, but I think Cochrane's been fantastic since he came in. Now, obviously, the different positions. Cochrane's more involved with...
Like a controversial take on yourself. Go on.
But this is what I think Suter is replaceable. We just need to be smart. Yes, because I think the biggest... I've said it before. The biggest compliment...
Is Stuart Finlay that man, if the papers are to be believed?
He's not happening. That's not happening. He's on the other side anyway. So, I've said numerous times that the biggest compliment I can give to Taylor Moore is that when he has filled in for John Suter, I've not noticed a massive decline. Now, obviously, though, Taylor Moore is only here on loan. So unless we can get him permanently, when I say that Suter is replaceable, the caveat to that is replaceable if we do the right things. If we mess it up,
sign Taylor Moore on a permanent deal.
Yeah, or get someone of a similar quality. But if we then mess it up and don't replace him, then we'll really, really miss him.
Look, I also agree, Stuart Finlay. I think Stuart Finlay is an underrated defender. But ultimately, he's a lefty, and we need somebody on that right-hand side. Taylor Moore, I'm surprised Bristol City haven't stepped up efforts to sign John Suter, to be honest. I don't know whether they'd use Taylor Moore as a make weight in the deal. Are they on the lookout for a centre-half? I don't know.
I don't know if they can financially compete, though.
With Blackburn and Stoke.
But think of how much money.
He doesn't want to live in Stoke.
Well, his brother's there, though, so it's playing with your brother. That's a big aspect.
Yeah, that was the thing for me, because we've touched on it in previous pods where Harry had been linked with, I think it was Everton and Spurs, and they're talking about 8-10 million or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So he's obviously seen Harry's trajectory and thought that he'd fancy a bit of that, and I don't blame him for that. Listen, if he goes down south, I've got no qualms with that. If he goes to Rangers, it's gonna haunt us time after time. Please, John, please join Harry at Stoke. I'm saying you don't want to live in Stoke. He doesn't either, but you could both be there together. Or go down to Blackburn, get me a Ben Brereton Diaz top, because I'm obsessed with that story. Incredible.
Newcastle might be signing him and I'm buzzing.
Oh, mate, he is a legend. That is one of 2021 has been terrible, but that story of him basically turning into some Chilean god has made my football year. I don't have any affiliation to Blackburn. I love the guy. So go and join him while he's still at Rovers, and you can be in the Prem. Come on, please. He's going to Rangers, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's going to Rangers, but regardless of that, we will still be here, which I'm sure you're all delighted to hear. And,
what a fine consolation that is.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, Hearts fans. You've lost John Suter, but Adam and Daniel are still here. So it's all right. It's a fair trade.
Oh, dear.
And we will, thankfully, as the news came out today, be in attendance a week tonight as we're recording this, which, by the way, I'm going to mention this now. We have no idea what the situation with the podcast is next week, because our normal recording time is around 7:45 on a Tuesday night. Hearts and Johnston kick off at 7:45 next Tuesday night.
I'm glad that you brought this up. Are we thinking it will be a Wednesday recording?
Yes.
To go over the Saints match? I'll be working at 12 till 8 on Wednesday, but that's fine. The recording can wait. A nice little Thursday release in time for the weekend. That's what you all want.
See,
everyone's a winner.
Doing some podcast admin live on the show.
You're all welcome.
But yes, we will be in attendance for that game. It won't be played behind closed doors. There won't be a limited amount of spectators, because it was confirmed this afternoon, as we record this, that from Monday, all outdoor venues will be back open at full capacity, which of course means all sporting events in Scotland as well. And of course, that means Scottish Premiership games and all the way down will have fans without any limitations. There is a caveat to that. Now 50% of fans need to show proof of vaccination and or a negative lateral flow test, as that went up from 20% of the fan base. As a slight addendum to that, the last 3 games I've been to, I've had my vaccination pass checked. So, yeah, I don't know if it's because
I've not had. I think I've had mine once.
The last 3 home games I went to, I got to check. I've been going in a bit earlier though, so there's less people, so they're able to just kind of quickly glance at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, first of all, before we speak about the game in hand, how happy are you that we'll be back? And unbelievably, didn't really expect to say this, but the SPFL did the right thing by moving the break up
for the first and probably the final time. I mean, I was on campus today, and I was doing a little radio show with my pal, and we were on air from 2:00 till 4, and it was just it was one of those where we were coming off our radio show, and there was kind of tunes playing. So obviously I'm not being picked up on the mic, and I literally just leapt up and just went, yes, just buzzing at the thought of getting to see Hearts being held at home by St Johnstone a week tonight.
That's ambitious. I'm going a 2-0 loss.
You just know that we're going to end up getting beat 1-0 or something.
They've signed Chiefchi, mate. He's got to score.
Nadir Chiefchi from a Tony Gallagher cross. Just delighted. Absolutely delighted, because that Boxing Day game, it was great to discuss it. It was great to watch it with my dad, but it's not like in an empty ground. Like, even there was a Bundesliga game on the Saturday night. Bayern Munich, Borussia Mönchengladbach. I thought I'll give that a wee watch. Awful. And I quite like the Bundesliga, but it's just not the same, is it? Like, it just looked like such a training game, and even like the dramatic circumstances within the game, everything's just not as you can't really explain it. It's just not at that same feel. It loses its kind of authenticity a wee bit, and the intensity, just buzzing. Don't get me wrong, it's not a clash of the Titans that we're going back to, but I will most certainly take it. I was actually having a little look kind of at the fixtures there. So Celtic play Hibs on the Monday night, which obviously I'm assuming you said it's from the Monday, so that's to obviously include that. That's a great fixture, as is Aberdeen Rangers at Pittodrie on the Tuesday. Dundee United host St Mirren. We've obviously got St Johnstone at home. Livy Dundee, yikes. And Motherwell head up to Dingwall. So hopefully Ross County could do us a wee favour. I did have to laugh at their tweet saying that it's great to have the fans back when they were one of 2 clubs to vote against. Honestly, man, that club they're just breathing hypocrisy from the get-go. With the appointment of Malky Mackay, which I'm not going to go into now, this nonsense. Honestly, I think my new hatred is going to be for Ross County, and I don't know any Ross County fans. They're just no, I'm not happy. And I think the fact that we had to watch us scrape past them in front of no fans has only since added to this rage and inexplicable animosity towards Ross County. But in terms of St Johnstone, has to be 3 points. I'm just delighted that it'll be in front of 18,000, hopefully,
roughly
more?
Something like that. But
fantastic.
We've got St Johnstone, who it's very much a tale of 2 seasons for Hearts St Johnstone. One of them is the newly promoted side, who are doing incredibly well and will now be almost disappointed with anything other than European places. And the other one are coming off a historic cup double and are now fighting to stay in the league with the least amount of goals scored, one of the worst defences in the league, and the lowest points as they sit clearly.
Only Scottish football. You love to see it.
I know, it's incredible. However, as I did mention, they have made a couple of signings in the window already, and the main one that took all the headlines was the returning cult hero of Scottish football, basically, that everybody loves, Nadir Chiefchi, is back. I can't believe he's only just 30.
Feels like he's been around for donkeys.
It's insane.
I'm starting to wonder how old he was at United.
He must have been about 19, 20.
Baffling, because I think the game that I can remember was United beating Rangers in a.
That's the game I remember as well. Yeah,
and he rounds the keeper.
That's exactly the game I remember. Yeah.
And he's like celebrating before it's even in, and I'm just like, this guy is a maverick. Like, he is a loose cannon, which is why I'm surprised you like him.
I love it. No, but he's in that Cammy Devlin mode of just like
a screwball on the park.
Yeah. Exactly, and I just really like.
He might score a wonder goal, or he might be sent off for an elbow to his opponent's face.
Yeah. It's class.
He's a great Premiership cult hero, even if he didn't play for your club.
He just seems loved by everybody.
Yeah, bar Dundee fans. But then if you get on the back of Dundee fans, I'm all for it personally.
Yeah, it adds to the love from other clubs.
Absolutely, and thinking of that United team. Featuring your mate, Gary Mackay-Steven. He scored in that game.
He did.
Sort of.
Kind of.
But that United team should have won something. There's an unpopular Scottish opinion.
I don't think it is.
Scottish
the team with
opinion. That was a
team
very,
with
that was a
Robertson, Gold,
no, but
Armstrong.
Actually, to be fair,
GMS.
they lost to St Johnstone in that cup final, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they should have won that. Something seriously wrong,
Yeah.
as is something seriously wrong with Nadir Chifchi's noggin. The fact that St Johnstone have taken him, it's just set up for him to score the winner in it.
Well, this was the thing.
100%.
So I tweeted that I was like, oh, it's
goes
classes
past
of the
John
league.
Suter, distracted by the transfer talk, and just slides one past Craig Gordon.
I tweeted being like, oh, well, hey, that's class that he's back in the league. And someone replied to me going, you do realise we've got them next. And I was like, oh, I forgot.
You should have saved that till afterwards. And then you could have been like, it was great to see my king back on
He's going to score.
Park today.
He's going to score one goal for St Johnstone and it'll be a winner against us. Then he'll do nothing for the rest of the season.
Oh, can't wait. It's just the most predictable thing ever.
However, what is the team you would line up against Nadir Chifchi's St Johnstone?
What a thought. CG in goal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he's not going to be here, so then include him.
The defence is tricky though, because if he is, do you play him?
If he's here, I'd play him.
Would you?
Yeah.
Do you know if?
Because he's good.
No, of course, but I don't know if it's going to be met with abuse or not.
Oh, it will be. His name will get announced and he will get booed.
If you're asking me, across the back, I'd probably have Michael Smith, Craig Halkett, Stephen Kingsley.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially that means a debut for Natty Aka,
Yep.
assuming that he's clear to play.
Yeah, yes, he's all fine. Yeah. He's able to play. Yeah.
Right. Alex Cochrane, left wing back. But I get the suspicion he might not play Cochrane. I've got a feeling he'll choose Halliday still, because I think Robbie will view the fact that Halliday hasn't done much wrong in past performances. I don't know.
Did Cochrane and they got dropped for like 4 games.
No, look, I agree, but I can't work out what Robbie Nielsen's thinking at the best times. Benny going to be back?
I think he's meant to be back for the 5th of February.
Right, okay, so that means no. So in that case, Big Pete and Cammy Devlin can continue there. I'm fine with that. Barry Mackay has to play. Liam Boyce, if fully fit, has to play. So that means that I'm left with one other slot.
You've got 3 options.
Now, what could that possibly mean? Do I go with my doppelganger? Do I go with your mate? Or do I go with the loose cannon that is Josh Ginnelly, who we'd last seen get sent off for Hearts?
Remember, your doppelganger did just have probably his best performance in a while in the last game.
And scored.
Yes, scored.
So, yeah, I'm willing to give my doppelganger another chance. Yeah, he was great at Tynecastle last time out, wasn't he? So we'll go with that. What about
when there was nobody there, and now when everybody's back,
and I didn't even see his goal live when it happened. So does it really count? Probably not.
I mean, yes, it does, because it got us the 3 points. They say that. Then Malky Mackay will hear this and go, right, they say it doesn't count, so it's a draw.
These clowns didn't see it. We should have taken something from that game.
Exactly.
What about your team?
So I am operating off the fact that John Suter won't be here by the game. I don't think. So I am going with... That was terrifying, by the way, if you're watching the video, because that sounded like a really big noise, but you didn't move. So I thought something had happened to the signal. But it was just you were covering it.
Do the Jason Cummings, wasn't that?
That was terrifying. Anyway, Craig Gordon in goals. Alex Cochrane left wing back. Natty Aka starting right wing back.
Same wing back duo, I like it.
And same back 3 with Kingsley, Halkett and Smith.
Oh,
I'd go with that as well.
Wow.
I think it's the first time we've ever agreed on a back 5.
I thought you were going to give Soapy's...
No, I'm saying I'm operating off the fact. Yeah. Because if he is, then I just move everybody across. So Smith goes to right wing back and then Natty Aka's on the bench.
Interesting. I thought you'd be eager to see him regardless.
No, I need to get my £100. I need to get my bet in. I need Smith to be playing. That's how I'm operating.
Well, if he's on the right, he'll be up against maybe Tony Gallagher making his debut.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably.
I see.
Interesting.
I might have to have a little punt on that.
The odds just get slashed because everybody jumps on.
100% if I back it, it's not coming in.
Yeah.
So watch when he puts us 1-0 up, and I won't be on it.
Exactly. I don't think Benny's meant to be fit. I think I saw something that is still a couple of weeks away. So Haring and Devlin, exactly with me.
It's been a couple of weeks away since he sustained the injury. This is like the worst kept secret of all time. Usually when we have a player that's out injured, we know fully well that he's going to be out for an extended period. Yeah. It seems as though he was aiming for. Was it the Boxing Day game against Ross County? Even?
It was. He might be able to do that, but it was the derby that was the aim.
And then the derby,
yeah.
And now we'll be lucky if he sees the derby at the 1st of February.
I might be wrong though. I might have misread that, and that he'll just start on Tuesday and be like, all right, okay.
Oh, hi, Benny.
Yeah, exactly.
Going into the deep end just like his debut.
I've just realised I don't know why I'm running through this team. I just picked the same team as you.
Really? You got my doppelganger as well?
Yeah, because he played well last game. So
to be fair, you did provide the inspiration for me picking him.
Yeah. It's all right. Did you take claim of all these things and then act surprised when I use them as well? What's your score prediction?
This is absolute tosh, isn't it? We need action to discuss. We were joking around saying Hearts nil St Johnstone won. I beg it's not, because I've mentioned him a couple of times. The Saints videographer, he's giving me and the other Jambo down here a lift there and back. If we get beat, it will be unbearable. So he's going to drop us off. He'll get to the ground nice and early, so we'll get to a couple of boozers. That'll be nice. Beforehand, beg we do the performance, or get a performance that brings 3 points on it. I'll say we'll score twice, but I do feel like Jeff J is going to nick one. I'll go 2-1.
I am going to go 1-1 because it's the return of fans and it's going to be disappointing.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It cannot wait. But yeah, going to go 1-1. Michael Smith, first goal scorer. So regardless of the result, I'm happy. And Chief G. Yeah, absolutely. So that's the situation. As we said, next week, the podcast will be delayed by a day because we literally will be at Tynecastle when we're meant to be recording it. Hope that's okay.
Hey, we'll be back to discuss
actual football.
Match. Come on, we'll have been there. Come on, Hearts.
And then preview a game that I don't want to even think about until we have to do it. Yeah, that's going to be some laugh. I cannot believe we've nearly got an hour out of this. I'm very impressed with us both. We've done very well.
I think we have. It's. Do you know what? Yeah, we've done all right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give us our dues. We've done not too badly.
Well, we hope you have enjoyed listening to this rambling, not much to talk about podcast. If you have, please let us know. Subscribe and like the visual version on YouTube if that is how you watch it. It's been massively, really appreciated. Also, leave a review on your podcast platform of choice if you just listen to the audio version. That's also greatly appreciated. You can get us on all the socials at Perth to Paisley if you want to chuck your opinions to us there, or perthtopaisley@gmail.com also is another way to contact us. Adam, how can they get you on all the socials?
And get me on all the socials at Adam T. Kendall. And what about yourself, mate?
I'm at DMcIver22. As we say, we'll be back a day later next week to discuss the St Johnstone game, all the fallout from that, and to preview the upcoming Scottish Cup tie against a team that I'm no wanting to name right now. But it's going to be a great laugh regardless. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
More Hearts!